In today's video, I'll be breaking down how to make this Chelsea Matchday graphic. This is a continuation from one of my previous streams, so if you missed the first part, as this is we're picking up from where we left off, please go back to the stream and watch how I made this. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, subscribe, and tell me what you want to see next. So let's get into it. So as you can see here, we've got a composition featuring Kai Havertz, Mason Mount, and Enzo Fernandez. And as I mentioned before, this is just a continuation picking up from where we left off in one of my recent streams. So if you missed the first part, please go back and watch the first half an hour to familiarize yourself with what I've made so far. So let's get into the first part of what we're doing first. My first step for this graphic is what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in some text. So most likely I'm going to add in the font called Tusker Grotesque 3700 bold. But first thing, I'm just going to group all these layers together so I know what I'm working with. Background, Mount Havertz, name these two, and this one is Enzo, and then I'll just group this logo together. For this one, we're going to do, for the text here, what we're going to do is based off the upcoming Chelsea game against Dortmund. So we'll just type in Chelsea. And we're also going to skew this, most likely, yep, this way. Dortmund. And we'll just increase the line spacing to around 28, 29. Make it a little bit smaller, like so. And we're going to add some outer glow behind, not as strong, so we just want a bit more spacing and size with the shadow, and we'll just decrease the opacity to around 40% for that one. And we're going to make a layer behind and just do our own shadow behind text here, just because we want the glow to be a bit stronger behind the Chelsea text and onto the Mount kit. Next, what I'm going to do is create two shapes. So we're just going to start with the white rectangle color, draw that in here. Make it a tad bit smaller, holding down Shift. There we go. And duplicate it onto the other side. And what we'll do is we'll hold those two together again and make them a little bit smaller. And just move this left one across slightly. And now we'll go and grab the Dortmund logo. And we'll just put it on the right side because I'm not sure if Chelsea are home or away for this game. And holding down the two layers, we'll come up to this middle part and click and make sure they're centered. And we will change the rectangle color to this color, this grayish kind of color. And again, check that they're middled. I might make the logo a tiny little bit smaller just because we want some spacing outside around the logo. And now I'll quickly grab the Chelsea logo as well. And we'll make sure they're the same size by overlaying them on each other and then move it across. And again, we'll make sure these are middled. So just holding the two layers down. I actually might move that one across just a little bit like so. And now we'll group all these together. Make it a tiny little bit smaller. And we might prop up this Havertz this Mount image. We might make a little bigger. Just because there's a little bit of dead space that needs to be occupied. So we'll just wait for that to render. And then again, I will just do the same for Havertz. So I might pop down this shadow layer that I've got behind in. And what I might do is I might grab from the stream and just put the original first parts in so people know what's going on. Now I'll come back to our layer mask and I'll fix the layer mask up just because we've got some stuff that shouldn't be in there behind, and I'll quickly add a layer mask behind for Havertz just because his arm is sticking out from behind and we don't want to see that. And we'll fix that out for Mount just because it's needed text and I don't really want that to be seen as well. And again, I might make this just a little smaller. There we go. And now I'll also fix up the glow behind hand like this, like so. And I'll just increase this to around 50% for the outer glow on the text. Now what we're going to do... Now what we're going to do is put the match details in. So we'll just put Stamford Bridge. And we'll change this font to 2500 medium. Make it smaller. And have it from the left side. Like so. And make sure it's middle to the left. Yeah, there we go. And just increase our VA. Now what I'm going to do is press Ctrl Shift Alt and E, convert it to a smart object, and come to Camera Raw Filter. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to move this Enzo across just slightly and increase the size of him. Just because there was a little bit of dead space there that I want it occupied. And now I'll do the exact same thing I just did then and come up to Camera Raw Filter. Going to increase our clarity by around 20%, 10, increase the contrast and the exposure, increase the grain, and decrease the vignetting. I want the grain around 10, not as strong as I had it there. And a tiny little bit of sharpness, just a little bit like so. And now what I'm going to do is, just because I want a little bit of a blue tone coming out of it, I'll increase the midtones and the shadows and the highlights, just to draw those blues out a little bit more like so. Now come to our adjustment layers. And I'm going to add a Camera Raw filter over the top of it. Sorry, color lookup over the top of it. Go with this one and knock it down to around 20%, like so. And there we go. That's how I make this Chelsea Matchday one for the UEFA Champions League. If you guys enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, tell me what you want to see next. See ya.